Oh, so I'm going to start another video while that one's uploaded. Where's the personality disorder, guys? Can someone explain to me, please? See, I've never changed. But you've got women that are heavily involved in drugs saying personality disorder because Justin doesn't use drugs. And I said years ago, can you give me a date when I use drugs? Give me a date. Just give me one date when apparently I was with Belinda Jeffries snorting cocaine. Can you write that date down? Blow in, Linda. Recording you. Give me that date. You see, there is overlapping toxicology reports. Overlapping toxicology reports from 2015 and 2018. Now, I can verify that if we went to court and Giovanni was subpoenaed, he would back up the conversation that we had on the 1st of January in 2016, which was exactly that, to try and entrap all you people after I was lied about in 2015. Okay? There is no personality disorder, and the gathered information comes from unreliable sources of people who don't even know me. There is no Rackley either. We're going to go around in that circle again. You can pay the last 7 years of damages. You did your little personality sort of scam. Oh, Justin's drinking Ribena on the balcony. You broke surveillance laws. I had to prove it. I had this discussion with Giovanni back in the 1st of January 2016. It was acting. Like, you honestly, I can't believe the people actually thought that was real. Anyway, just proves I'm good at it. Okay? It's no personality disorder. I'm not a pot smoker. Sorry, can I say one thing? Okay. This is called a cigar. I've always been a cigar smoker. You can see that in photos. This is called Rolly tobacco. I've always been a Rolly tobacco, not every day. I don't have a, addiction nicotine problem. These are just special, like when you have a chocolate. Over there is called an Arabic pipe, a hookah or shisha. I've had one of them since 1997. Okay. Those, like here, there, that's an Arabic pipe, all right? Hookah, shisha, agili. This is a tobacco pipe. Now, these are things I've always done, having a cigar lounge. These are not drugs. And for the last, now, 11 years, I've had to keep repeating this to say, that's not drugs, okay? That's tobacco. So why do you keep going down the same path, and when you're not getting what you want, you accuse me of having personality disorder? No? You're not getting what you want because you're there going, oh no, because we saw him was smoking cannabis. No, I was smoking a Rolly. I don't smoke cannabis, I'm anti-cannabis. Always have been. Even though I was which country was it? Oh, Fiji. Fiji use it as a pain medication. I was like, are you kidding me? They don't have pain medication. They fucked up a back tattoo. It was like, and they use it as pain medication. I was like, oh God, no wonder they're so fucking weird. I can't stand Fiji. I think it's a disgusting country. Foul. Anyway, pain medication. I'm like, well, I disagree with that. So the Rackleys are the ones that have the drug issues and are involved in cannabis, not the Flemings. Okay. Bullshit that's been going on from people just projecting what their beliefs are onto me, really. It's like, oh, you're projecting what you think I am onto me instead of listening to who I am. It's like, I've had organisations come back and it's like, with information to do with whether they've gathered it and spread it to another organisation. I'm like, okay, that doesn't relate to me. It's like, well, we gather information from where we get it from. I'm like, yeah, but I'm telling you it doesn't relate to me. And then you're relying on these same Justin's like this. I'm like, I'm not. I told you I wasn't. I don't believe in that. And you're still relying on it 11 years later with the information that you gathered that you didn't get from me. And then you say personality disorder. I'm like, well, it's not personality disorder. I mean, it's definitely not personality disorder. I told you 11 years ago the information that you have doesn't relate to me. But you won't correct it. And you're relying on the information that you have as if it's facts. It's not facts. It's information that was gathered from unreliable sources. And we go around these circles now for 11 years, and I'm like, okay, but you've got information that's not related to me. You're like, for example, a hospital. St. Vincent's has. St. Vincent's has information, and I've got emails back and forth saying that's not true. The information you have is not true. Correct it. And they said no, flat out no. We get information from where we take it from. I said, but if you're relying on this, then that's called it's medical negligence. I'm the person. I've said that's not true. And you won't correct it. So therefore, that is called medical negligence. Don't care if you're Jewish or whatever you are, that you think the world doesn't apply to you because you've got more money than someone else. No, I'm sorry. That's not how the world works. You're committing medical negligence. Okay? You literally are committing medical negligence. You say you've given this information from another person and it relates to me, so you're relying on it because you're told it relates to me. But I'm Justin Mark Fleming and I'm telling you it doesn't relate to me, so don't rely on it. And then you're telling me, no, you're going to rely on it. It's like, well, I've told you it doesn't relate to me. So I've said exactly that's not true and I can back it up. So I've said it's not true, it's backed up. So here we have a situation of privacy laws and negligence. And we're going around in circles here. Literally, we are going around in circles. I'm like, but you're still relying on information that's not true. And you're like, well, we gave information. I'm like, oh, this is getting ridiculous. This is how these medical staff are behaving. It's like, I told you it's not true. So why are you relying on it? And they're still causing the same negligence and health problems in my life, which is why my life's going nowhere. Because they're relying on information that's just false. And they're still doing it. They're literally still doing it today. And they'll keep doing it until, well, I get a legal team to actually correct it. Basically. Oh, make this one too thick. Get back here. Yeah. Like they had information for, and they've been doing it for years. It's like, how can you do that? It's not legal. I mean, it's certainly not legal. It's just because in Australia we don't have the, legal avenues that America has. America's a good country. Keeps it real. Keeps it honest. America's an honest country. Australia, I wouldn't call it honest. With what's going on, definitely wouldn't call it honest. But America, there's things in America like the law, the legal system there. Thank God, because they're not under the UK, see? And it keeps it extremely honest, which means when organisations do what St. Vincent's doing, they're pulled into court for it. Okay, they're not they wouldn't be getting away with it. They're pulled into court for it, like St. Vincent's should be. Okay, last one. Well, it's a bit of time, but what else are you going to do? You're going to waste time watching TV, and then you're going to whinge about the price of things, while your TV's, like racking up. I mean, I don't even have, I keep the lamps on. I've always got the overhead light only shortly, so I can see what I'm cooking. So you're going to have, an extra, and then there's these people that don't live their life like I'm living, that whinge about, oh, everything's so expensive. How are we going to do this? How do you afford to live? I'm like, I make my own bread. I make my own everything. I buy what's cheap. I buy what's on sale, and I use every aspect of it. Nothing goes to waste. Nothing gets thrown out. That's how. I watch how much money I spend out in areas of social because there's no need for it while we're in times like we were in times. There's no need to social. These people aren't going to care about you after you're dead, so you're better off, striving to be alone and have a better life. So getting through something and having more money than someone else is what you need. Should be socking money away wherever you can put it and living as cheap as possible. Okay. And all the people that actually, I can't believe people use drugs. It's like, how can you afford to use drugs in this? How can you afford to drink? I mean, I've still got a beautiful wine cellar and wine collection, but I've had that since before, well before 2006. There you go, because it was actually in the film that Jeremy Patterson wrote using my place as a set. And you can see that filmed in 2006 and 2007. And you can see my wine collection there. So I've still got the same alcohol from 20 years ago, over 20 years ago. So that sits there. And so I've still got it. I can enjoy it because I bought it years ago in Settlement. Um, so anyway, squash on this onion that I didn't cut up very well. So yeah. Now I'm going to say this as well. Any person who said this, my name's Rackley, it's Rackley. If New South Wales Police don't arrest him, I'm going to continue trying to fight New South Wales Police for corruption. Okay. There is no Rackley. That's Mark Rackley, which is Mum's second husband. Why do you... Alright. You want to charge these people with... Charge them with bullying, stalking and harassment. Okay? Because how many times you have to tell someone since April 1989 when my mother moved to a new area that our surname isn't Rackley, it's Fleming. Mum's got a different surname because she just remarried. My mum remarried in 1988. Mark Rackley is not Amanda Lee Fleming and myself, Justin Mark Fleming's name. And that's what's caused most of the problem in my life in the last 11 years, or actually even going back before. What's caused a lot of problems in my life since 2008 is the Rackley bullshit. Yeah, my name's not Rackley. So you want to arrest, there you go, look at a birth certificate and start arresting the people who said they knew us as Rackley. No, they didn't. They just bullied. Well, that's bullying. You didn't know us as Rackley because there's no way that we stood there and that you believed our surname was Rackley. Okay, you've been told over and over and over again. I mean, how many times do you have to be told? Like, honestly, in 36 years, so you can guarantee that person is a bully. Because in 36 years, how many times does that person have to be told our surname? I would never stand there and let anyone think that Mark Rackley was my father. And I don't even know the guy. I'm getting information in the last 11 years where, like, I barely know Mark Rackley. I'm getting information in the last 11 years where it's like, well, you obviously know a lot more about Mum's second husband than even my mother probably does. Because she wasn't married to him long. They divorced in 95, like at the beginning of 95. So, you know, and then Daniel Rackley moved to Tamworth. So Mark Rackley's son from his first marriage in South Australia moved to Tamworth in 1995. So you seem to know a lot more about the Rackleys than I do. So then you also must be heavily involved in crime, like drugs. And that's why, and so I literally have people who know me and go, okay, you've never been involved in drugs. How come in the last 11 years you're getting all these people involved in drugs harassing you? I'm like, because there was a person involved in drugs that put information out across social media or social media source that said I was Rackley. That's why. And Mark Rackley and Daniel Rackley and Faith Rackley are criminals heavily involved in crystal meth and cannabis. So this is what Mark Rackley's got alcoholism. I'm still having it now. Don't worry, I'm still meeting people. It's like, okay, I'm not related to Mark Rackley. I'm not Mark Rackley, which is what descriptions New South Wales Police had attached to my profile. I'm not Mark Rackley. I'm not Daniel Rackley. We're going to keep going around in a circle. And if you say again, surely your mother would have known and been able to help. Well, of course, Mum knew, but she didn't want to help. She wanted to scam. Okay, she knew that. So we go around in circles again, okay? Oh, don't worry, that's where St. Vincent's have it wrong. So literally, organisations thought that I changed my name from Rackley to Fleming. Like, well, that's insane. My dad's Mark Ian Fleming, a builder. We're going to go around these circles again. My parents were married in 1977 but divorced in the 80s. Then in 1988 my mother married her second husband, Mark Rackley, and they separated in early 1995, but he was never there. They were always separated. Like, I barely know the guy, to be honest. You know, except that he was a nurse that worked at some Freemason nursing home called Memory House, and he's a deadbeat drugger with issues. So is his son. Oh, they've got massive drug issues. Drug and alcoholism and depression and suicide. And that's the information that mental health workers had attached to me because New South Wales Police was telling them wrong information about me for years. And I found out, and I'm like, well, that's the Rackleys. Like, New South Wales Police had me down as having kids. Apparently I have kids. Yep. Apparently I'm a straight man that was married with kids. Except that profile belonged to Mark Rackley, and they attached Mark Rackley's profile to me. And guess what that was? Crime Stopper report regarding child abuse. And I'm the victim of child abuse from Mark Rackley. So New South Wales Police actually attached information regarding the child abuser, Mark Rackley, towards the victim, me. You want to talk about a payout matter now? Because you better. That was Redfern Police, by the way. So I'd like to see Redfern City Council sued. Damages. Redfern Police attached information to do with Mark Rackley onto my profile. Right, in the oven 200, and I'll video when it comes out. Yeah. Next time I won't be doing the onions that big. I'll be making sure I finely dice them, because they made it hard to actually roll that thin. You want to roll it thin so you get nice thin strips of meat. That's it. That's how you can turn minced meat into things like mortadella and cold meats. So yeah, so we're going around in circles. Mum knows. Oh, Mum knew when she tried to scam me in 2018. See, they had Mark Rackley where Mark Rackley was. So Mark Rackley, his domestic violence towards his wife, Carol Purdy, was actually attached to me, and New South Wales Police believed it was me. So they had me down as bashing my wife and abusing my kids. New South Wales Police, right up until 2023, so we're only talking about a couple of years ago, and they're still not really correcting it like long term around the world. They didn't contact. They told me I've got to contact the solicitor and get it corrected for immigration, customs, and the medical industry and the mental health industry. I'm like, I've got to do the work. Well, I still can't find a solicitor to do it for me. Okay. So they had Mark Rackley's Crime Stopper report attached to me. Oh, they're trying to dodge it now. They had to literally write to Interpol and have it removed. So Crime Stopper reports to do with domestic violence towards Mark Rackley's wife, Carol Purdy. They had it as me. I was, yeah, Mum knew. Oh, that's why she did the little scam in 2018 and 2017. This whole thing is a scam and a fraud. It was Redfern Police since 2008 attaching Mark Rackley's details to me. That's it.